Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have been dreading to come back and make a long form video. We have a new addition to our family. This is Pedro Pascal. I absolutely adore this boy. He is a lover big time, gives you good cuddles, loves going on walks, exercises as well every time I hit the gym, and he's just an absolute cutie. You're done? This particular video, I didn't know if I wanted to shoot or not, but I was like, hey, if I had known anything of this sort, maybe all of these would have not happened to me. A massive trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. We will be talking about harassment, we'll be talking about catcalling, we'll be talking about a lot of things here that I have gone through. Probably also the reason amount of trauma I have. How you guys can also, when you see these little red flags or things, you can get out. I feel like we do have a lot of teenagers consuming content from both Instagram and YouTube. Also the time where you're very confused about what is good and what is bad. It is about good and bad touch, something that I don't think we speak about quite often, and we only get to know about good touch, bad touch, and all of these things once we've experienced it, have enough trauma about it, and then get to know that this is wrong. If I have to recollect the time I kind of felt something about this was wrong is when I used to go to this madrasa. Madrasa is nothing but the place where you learn about the religion. My mom is a religious woman. She taught us about religion. She really wanted us to get whatever education that we could get. We used to go there, and there was this teacher, which was also called as Hazrat Maulana, let me call him teacher. I used to feel extremely uncomfortable around. His way and his approach was extremely sweet. The beginning days were all, he would teach us really well, he would take care of it and all of those things. It started getting creepy when he would invite me to his chamber. He would ask me to sit on his lap. He's just talking about random stuff, and he would have his hand on my thighs. Even though we used to fully cover because you're going to madrasa and we had hijab and every single thing, you could still know for a fact that the way he's touching my thigh or the way he's caressing is not nice, right? That was my first experience of something that I felt uncomfortable with, and something that I was like, okay, something about this is wrong. I did not have the guts to go and tell this to my parents because, again, nobody told me that this is right or this is wrong, but the feeling that I felt was just not nice. So I would make reasons every single time he would try to call me to his room, and I'd be like, no, I have to go back, I'm getting late for school or anything. Someone from there got to know that this guy was doing something wrong and had to fire him. After that, for the longest time, everybody who came as teachers were all really nice people. But by the time I could understand this and share it with my parents, it was way too late. Later on is when I started contemplating and getting back to, was this good? Was this bad? Is it good touch? Is it bad touch? And all of these things included, which was like, oh my god, this is horrible, right? After this first incident, the second incident that I've had was with my own cousin. During summer holidays, I used to have cousins come from Bangalore and Mysore to the village because their mothers were born and raised in the place that we were raised. So during summer holidays, they used to all come to the village, and we used to play, we used to have a good time, and I used to love the idea of my cousins being there because I'm like, okay, we'll get to meet, we'll get to have conversations, and we'll get to talk. And he was 5 or 6 years older, if I'm not wrong, six to 7, I'm not sure exactly, but he was definitely older. And with this boy, I have no idea where he picked it up from. I have no idea what content he would consume, but this one would molest me in the... I used to play hide and seek with my sisters and another cousin of mine. I would hide. He would know where I'm hiding because obviously these people were older than us, so they were not playing with us because we were young girls. He would look for the spot or the place that I was hiding in, lock that particular room, touch inappropriately, do things that was just disgusting, but also in a way where I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Should I scream? Should I yell? Should I shout? I'm shocked. Like, my body cannot move. I'm not breathing. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And I was just get out from that space and be numb. That's all my response to this was. I was numb, and I would try to find reasons to stay as far away as I can from this boy. But this went on every summer holidays for 3 years in some or the other way, which just made things extremely uncomfortable for me. And my mother was very, very strict at that point of time. We were not allowed to do anything, we were not allowed to say anything. And if at all I went and told her that this is what is happening to me, she would blame me than she would blame him. But in the meantime, nobody really told us or taught us that this is good and this is bad at all, to know for a fact that what was happening to me was wrong. I think I was in class 7th. Me, my sisters, my dad, we were all traveling. We were all at their place for lunch or something like that. And again, we were playing hide and seek with, we were all young girls. I have all of my cousins there, everybody's playing. So we were playing, everyone's hiding somewhere. And I go to the terrace and there's a storeroom that's there, and I'm hiding in the storeroom. I see someone come and I was like, oh my God, somebody has found me. And also the storeroom was extremely dark. There was nothing that was there, right? Only to know that it was this guy quickly enters, closes the door, latches it, pins me to the wall. Now that I think about it, I'm just like, I did not deserve this. I did not. I was a young girl who didn't deserve any of it. Like, I don't know. I started yelling this time. I started screaming is when he was like, shut up, I will let you go. Just shut the fuck up. If you do not tell this to anyone else, I will let you go, is when he let me go. That was the last time I ever saw him, and that was the last time I ever met him. And I remember telling my sisters to stay away from this boy. I was like, stay the fuck away from this boy, because this one's disgusting as hell. If he can do this to me, he can do to you guys also. So I should not be seeing you guys talking to him. I should not be seeing you guys around him. And I want you all to like stay away. So when he got to know that maybe I might know something, that this is happening wrong, because I was trying to ignore him, stay away from him, tell him that if you come close to me, I'll scream and shout. He stayed away, but he used to be around my sisters all the time. Luckily or fortunately, he never did anything to my sisters, but for sure I felt like he did have intentions to do. I actually had to move out of Coorg, come here to gather guts to one fine day call my parents and tell them that, hey, I have to tell you guys something. This boy has been doing this to me for so many years. And the last time this happened was when we had gone to their place. It took me a lot of courage to tell this to my parents. And luckily, my dad was very supportive. He asked my sisters to block him from everywhere, not to have conversations with him, not to talk to him. He cut ties from every single thing. At that time, I felt like maybe I can actually let them know instead of just, keeping things to myself. But I also feel I wish I knew this before, because during that time as well, there was another person who was the head of village, who was a very good friend of my father, who used to run a coffee mill, because Coorg is known for coffee, and he used to grind coffee and rice in his mill. Because he was my dad's friend, we usually used to go get the grounded coffee or go get rice grounded and everything. So I used to simply go. I used to see how the mills worked, how it went. It was an old mill thingy, not something new. You had to sometimes rotate it, wait for the electricity to come, things of that sort. So I was always fascinated, and I was like, can I do this and can I do that? For this man to one fine day, I am wearing my school shirt, which was a classic white shirt like this. He starts unbuttoning my shirt, and then he puts his hand inside and tries to like caress my chest. And I am again frozen. I do not know if I should move, if I should run, if I should scream. My heart is racing really, really fast, and I'm just like, what do I even do? Because he was the last person I expected of. The shitty part is he also has a daughter. And the next incident, I used to work as, I'm pretty sure whoever has followed me for the longest time knows that I used to work as an MC before I started creating content. And because I was financially cut off, I had to work every Saturday and Sunday. So my Monday to Friday was college, and Saturday, Sunday I used to go to work. I was working in Phoenix Market City. I was hosting the event there. I used to stay in the hostel for first 1.5 years. I moved out and I used to stay with my friend. We used to share the apartment. It was a 1 BHK. I had taken the hall, she had taken the room. This one fine day, I finished my event at 8 o'clock. I take the bus from the mall to my college. From there, you had to walk. And I get down, it is around 9 o'clock at that that point of time. So I start walking. There's a school area as well in that place. I cross the school area and I'm walking through this residential area. When I say residential, these are all people who own the houses, who live there. They're not even renting the space. I did notice a bike with two boys when I had crossed the bike, and I was walking and going. I also had my headphones on, so I did not hear anybody else, but my music was low. I was like, just in case. I could know that somebody is following me, but not in a way where it was very prominent. So when I used to turn around, it was not like, it felt like these boys were following me. It felt like, they were waiting for somebody and now they're just moving. So I had to take a right, and that's where my house was. Once I do that, and now I'm not concentrating at all. I'm not looking back. I'm just walking and going. It's like another 2 minutes and I'll be home, right? That's how close I am to my house. When these boys cross me, and the one who is sitting at the back grabs my hand. He grabs my hand and they start pulling me with them, okay? I start yelling, like I start screaming my lungs out. I'm like, help, I'm screaming, I'm shouting. I was like, help, help. But they dragged me to a very good extent. Like I was being dragged, so I was also like running sort of situation to a point where they realized like, okay, this girl is only going to bring us a lot of issues, is when they left and they ran. And I remember having these marks there. For me to like, again, be traumatized, but I'm just traumatized in a way where I'm running to the house to just call up my friend and be like, dude, what the fuck this was supposed to be a safe space, this is a residential area, people live here, like what the fuck is even happening? So we get down immediately and we start looking. We go around the same lane, look at every single house to see if there is any CCTV camera or anything at all that could be done, and there was nothing. Like there was no CCTV camera. We asked a few people, like if you heard me yell, if you heard anything at all, and everybody was like, no, we did not hear anything at all. We were like, do we go file a complaint? And I was like, bro, firstly, I am not 18 as yet. On top of it, if my parents get to know something like this has happened while they financially cut me off, I am here making my own money, figuring something out, they will get me back. They'll get me back to Coorg, and they will never allow me to come back here again, and they will never allow Huda and Zoya to come out again either. Like I just cannot. And I hated the fact that I could not go ahead and do this, because I knew how my family was, and I knew for a fact that they wouldn't give a damn about anything, but they would just be like, see, this is exactly why we didn't want you to go out, and now that you've done, just shut the fuck up and come back. And I hated this thing so much, because after that, even though I did not make as much as money, the reason I used to take a bus, come and then walk was because I was saving money, right? I used to make 2,000 from every gig. So if I end up spending around 200 to 400 on my cab, then what else am I left with? I had to pay the rent as well. I had to pay all of these things. Nothing made sense to me. But I had no other option but to now use whatever money that I made in cabs, even though that was like the worst financial decision at that point of time. But for me, I was like, either I'm safe or I save money. There's no in between. But the worst one of all was this is the point where I was like, I'm done. I don't want to be with men. I don't want to date anymore. I don't think I can share this, because I don't think I've come around to sharing this publicly as much as, because this involved physical abuse to a point where I was done, where I was like, I think that point, when I'm going through the shittiest thing in life right now, I go back to my teenage and I go back to everything that I've gone through, and I was like, if I could get out of that, if I could get out of all these shitty experiences I've had, I can easily get out of this. I was with my parents in Mysore exhibition, where they have these Dasera exhibitions that they happen all the time, and I was a baby at that point of time. I was in class 4th, if I'm not wrong. I was wearing this very beautiful anarkali with my sisters and everything, and we were walking, and it was the most crowded place on earth ever. And we're walking. I'm so happy. We're getting these cotton candies. We went on a few rides. We're coming. I'm just like so happy about this experience. We got to do it with my family. Everything is being nice. My father's gonna go to Dubai soon. And we're walking back from the exhibition. Someone walked across me, grabbed my ass in the most disgusting way possible ever. And again, I froze. Until I could like gather my thoughts and turn around. It was so crowded, like everybody was just like walking past this and that. I didn't even know who that person was. That beautiful day, which took so much to be built with like this and that and eating food and everything, was taken away from me, because now when I think of that particular day and that memory, as much as I want to think of how beautiful it was, it gives me scars. I was a child and someone thought it was okay for them to do that. For me, the most important thing and priority right now is if a person is making me feel unsafe or uncomfortable or something about this environment that they're in is not feeling good, you will not see me entertain. I'll walk out. But I will not put myself in positions anymore that is gonna harm me or give me scars in ways that I can't forget, because I was naive then. I am not naive now. These are people I have no idea about. I don't know their faces, but I know what they have done that has left a scar on me for the rest of my life. The crazy part is I know so many of my family members who've gone through some or the other harassment, so many of my friends who've gone through some or the other experience, and it's normalized so much. It has normalized to that extent where we feel like, I mean, what can you do? It happens. It happens. I love hitting 10k steps. It's something I picked up, right? And I used to do that right around my house every single time, only for these 3 boys to constantly keep Eve teasing me, make noises every single time I pass by, or make it uncomfortable for me, that now I can't do that. I just feel unsafe. There's another experience where I'm going back at 8 o'clock in the night and it's close by. I have a cafe here and my house is just right there. I'm walking from the cafe to my house. There's this scooty that's coming right opposite to me and is coming close. He slows down and then he spat on me and he was chewing, I think, gutka or something like that. And luckily I had a jacket on my sleeve, so I just like did something so it was like here, but it was also like so disgusting. What the fuck? What is wrong with you guys? Like, mentally, what are you guys even thinking and doing that you feel like it is okay for y'all to do this? How am I supposed to feel safe in this place? We've never addressed the issue that women in India do not feel safe. We can't walk, we can't get out, we can't do this, we can't do that, from stalking, unsolicited dick pics, I want to do this to you, I want to do that to you, from human beings and people you don't even know, the rape threats, it's disgusting to know for a fact that having lived in this country, having born in this country, and as much as I love this place and I love the culture and I love the tradition and everything that India has to offer, but as a woman, I feel like when it comes to safety, we are in gutters. And these are the few incidents that has been etched in my brain that cannot be taken off. But there are so many other incidents that has happened that I could like practically write a book on. Please know what a good touch is, what a bad touch is. It doesn't matter. You can spend time with a person for as long as you can. When this person comes close to you and if you're feeling uncomfortable, let them know, walk out. Energies speak a lot. The kind of things that they bring in speaks a lot. So know for a fact that if you're feeling uncomfortable, your body is rejecting it. There's a misalignment. You just don't like it. Walk out of those situations. If you are somewhere where somebody has made you uncomfortable, they've just not done something, they've just passed comments about your body, about how you look, you do not need people like that in your life. Cut them off. It doesn't matter how long you've been known, you know them, how long it has been. If they're making you constantly uncomfortable and you're constantly not okay being around them, they are not your people. The reason I'm speaking about this as well is because a cousin of mine happened to call me recently and she was just telling this incident that happened which made her feel extremely uncomfortable, and I had to sit down and tell her what these things are to know for a fact that the next time something is even remotely close to this, you'll have to either tell me or your parents, because this is not right and this is not good. Because she kept blaming herself, saying maybe I am the issue, I am the one who put myself in that position, I did that. Sometimes no, like, you're a human being, you deserve respect, you deserve to get treated like a human being without having to go through all of these shitty experiences to become the kind of person that you are. I really thought that this probably might be the time, because there are so many people, so many young girls who are coming in not knowing for a fact, trying to experience or do things that's slightly out there, but you have to be safe. As much as we need to raise our boys right, at this point all you could do and know is you gotta be safe, and you got to call out people who have made you uncomfortable and who do not have best interests. It took me a lot of therapy sessions. It took me a lot of reflecting. It took me a lot to be able to not cry when I'm having this conversation. But it's also sad because you're trying to get used to it so much and know for a fact that okay, it has happened. But emotionally, you've just been like, okay, it happens, now what can you do? And I feel so bad. But I've also come to this conclusion that okay, now what else can I do? Not everybody around you has best interests for you. That's it for this one. Until next time.